Hi all, this is Jan of the Jan Files. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Today I'm going to talk about two things. I want to talk about ICE and I want to talk about Epstein. First, in terms of ICE. So have you heard of the blue butterfly zone? The blue butterfly zone is at the Dilley Detention Center. And what it is a room full of female teenagers that nobody has access to. In other words, if your congressperson were to go in to try to go in there, which they have every legal right to do, they won't be allowed. So we have a room full of teenage girls under the oversight of ICE. Now, I want you to think about that for a second, because I know I saw an ICE dude following one of his captives, a young girl, into a porta potty. I saw that. What do you think he did to her there? So, right now, as we should be, we are decrying what happened to little girls under Epstein and possibly little boys under Epstein. That is the right thing to do, to be outraged, to demand justice. Yet, right now, we have teenage girls in a facility that nobody has access to. What do you think is happening there? What do you, just guess? I don't know. I'm not saying I know. But why would you do that? That's what I want to ask. And so what I also want to ask is that, we're outraged about Epstein and the Trump files. I believe, obviously, I believe that we should be outraged. That is the minimal that we should be. But yet, right now, this is happening under ICE. So, where is the outrage about that? And I know, as usual, there's so many things to be outraged about. But let's just for a second, just focus on little girls. Can we focus on little girls for a second and the fact that they are in this position under ICE? And I am not remotely saying that I don't know of it. I haven't heard of it, of young teenage boys being in this kind of position. It may be. But the point is, I do know about the blue butterfly zone at Dilley Center. This should be screaming out from all of our Congress people. We need to make sure they know about it. That's our job. I mean, it should be their job, but whatever. We have to be screaming about this. And that means talking. Every time you have a conversation with somebody, you talk about this. Of course, if they've been a victim of sexual abuse, you don't. That's triggering. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I am saying you need to include this in your conversations. Like, oh, have you heard? Every fucking time you talk to somebody, because that's how shit changes. We also have to call our congressional, our representatives, our senators. We need to make sure that they are aware of this and that they are on top of this, because we are at the point, in my estimation, that we need to be every day shouting and gathering. And I know it's hard. I don't know where you are in the world, but I'm buried under like almost 24 inches of snow. But it's still important to do what you can. And when we can actually get out in the streets, we have to be out in the streets more. And it can't just be no kings. Okay? It has to be some kind of focus on what we're allowing to happen to little girls. I'm disgusted. And, they lie. They being ICE, lies. They have no relationship to the truth. Kristi Noem is a crackpot. And that's just being so nice. I can't right now come up with she's an evil monster. There we go. That works. She's an evil monster. This is evil. What they're doing under ICE is evil. It's evil to everyone that they're in contact with. They are treating American citizens as if they're not. They are arresting people who are here legally. We all know what ICE is doing, but I didn't know about this particular thing. I do know they're torturing people. I know that people are sleeping in their shit. They're sleeping in their vomit. I know all of those things. And that's horrific. And the fact is that this is happening in this country is disgusting. And I don't know how else to say that. Okay. So we need to rise up once again. We're going to have to be continuing to put pressure on at all times. Email, call, speak, say it on social media. Blue butterfly zone. The other thing I want to talk about is Epstein. There are a couple of new updates, but the biggest one to my mind is I have no idea what Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie are going to do next, because their choices are limited, but to actually think that anything in terms of pursuing the Justice Department or even pursuing the Democrats have shut down part of the government because they want these things that they want ICE to do. And that's ridiculous because their list is meaningless. Saying that they have to do anything is ridiculous. They don't care. They won't do it. Just like they were supposed to turn over all of the Epstein files. They didn't come close. And they didn't provide them with unredacted files when they went into their little skiff place where they have 4 computers. They don't follow. The DOJ is lawless. So the idea that Democrats are fighting for this is like, I don't know. It's like, what page are you on? Are you in the same place I am? So we have to take matters into our own hands, is what I'm going to say, because Thomas Massie and Khanna, who have been great on many levels, I don't know what they're doing next. They talked about inherent contempt, which they can do without a court. They can do it in terms of the House of Representatives. I don't know what happened to that. They mentioned it 6 weeks ago and nothing happened. They went to court to try to get a special master. They were shot down, but the judge said, file a lawsuit. To my knowledge, they haven't filed a lawsuit. So I don't know where we are, if we're anywhere. And the other pieces that have come out are that Epstein had storage facilities around this country, about 6 of them, that he had private investigators take things from his houses and move to these different places. They've never been, as far as they can tell from the files, they have never, ever been checked out by the FBI. Ever. So there could be a lot more evidence out there, folks. The other thing that's happening is Zorro Ranch, which is in New Mexico. Epstein owned it. It was bought by a Republican by the name who is running for the controller of Texas. And his name is Tom. It's weird. Where's his name? Oh, Don Huffines. He owns it. Very rich man. And now there is a whole prosecution. Is that the right word? Investigation in New Mexico by the Attorney General and a prosecutor. They're they're reviving this, and they are looking to get access to Zorro Ranch, and have also asked the DOJ for unfettered, unredacted Epstein files. Let's just all guess that that's not going to happen, okay? And why? One of the reasons they're investigating this, because one would assume that all of the interior documents or whatever are long gone, okay? This was 2019. And what they are looking for are bodies. You know, there's no other way to say that. You're looking for dead bodies. So that's the latest update on the Epstein files and on ICE, which I want you to focus on the blue butterfly zone. Thank you for listening. And remember to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. I appreciate you all. And by the way, one of the things that gives me great hope are our kids marching out of their high schools in support of defunding, well, not defunding ICE, but they're getting out there protesting ICE. And that gives me all the hope in the world. The cop who put a chokehold around one of the girls does not give me hope, but I'm not surprised. It's a cop in Pennsylvania. He'll probably lose his job if, you know, anybody has anything to say about it. But we need to support our kids. We need to do what we can do. And when we can, I'm buried right now in snow, literally probably 20 inches of snow. Get out in the streets. Talk about it. Email about it. Contact your congressmen, congresswomen about it. Don't stay silent. Do not stay silent. Thank you.